That intro is so interesting to me because I'm not sure that Coffee with Humans is exactly like Sunday brunch, but at the same time, I get a warm spot in my soul when I think of Sunday brunch.
Same.
And it's not like I have Sunday brunch all the time.
No.
Well, welcome to Coffee with Humans, Trav. Good to have you on.
Stoked to be on, mate.
I love your accent. Where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois. No, I'm from.
You are not.
Yes. No, I'm from a little town called Ocean Grove. That's where I currently am, and I'm about 500 meters from the Southern Ocean at the end of Australia, about an hour and a half out of Melbourne, Australia.
Really?
I know, and it is Thursday morning here, and I believe it's Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday night there. So I'm literally from the future, and
from the future and from the beach, all at the same time.
Yeah. And straight after this, I'm having my second coffee. So
that is perfect, man. I love your life. Well, welcome to Coffee with Humans. I'm curious, what drew you to what's broken in your head that you would click the button to have coffee with me?
I think this is an educational piece, to be honest. I'm an absolute coffee freak. And I feel it's my duty to educate the American public what real coffee is. Because I've been to America a bunch of times on business, and I struggle to get a good coffee. You know, I've really got to sort my way through the different places I find myself in America to find a good coffee. So we've got this really Italian influence over here, and we've got proper baristas, and I feel proper coffee. So maybe this is an educational piece, mate. I don't know. Maybe I've just gone to a heap of places in America that's just overrun with Starbucks, and I've been a bit gun shy ever since. And that's not real coffee.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I'm a coffee freak too. And you put it in when you filled out the form to sign up. That's you right. Said that you're a coffee snob, and I thought, I love this. So me too. So let's compare notes. I'm curious what are the characteristics of a good cup of coffee?
Oh, it's got to be. I don't like. There's no fruity Colombian, freaking Brazil, whatever in there. It's nothing fruity. It's just hard Italian long black coffee. That's what it is, long black. So it's not an espresso. It's a coffee about that big to keep the richness. Next level, though, you know, and I think I've trained everyone within about 5 kilometers of where I live, of how I like my coffee. My partner Tracy, she knows how shitty I get when I don't get my coffee right. Whenever a new barista comes into one of my many home offices, where I steal their Wi-Fi, because I drink so much coffee, I feel that they actually work for me, and when I go to their coffee shop. So, but yeah, when a new barista gets employed, I feel like I've got to, you know, train them up. That's my duty. That's what I take on as my responsibility. But it's got to have for a long black coffee, it's got to have a creamer on top too. Oh. That's the secret sauce. That is. The creamer is where all the flavor is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I do coffee. Well, I do coffee a handful of ways, and I sort of like experiment with it. It depends on my mood. But my favorite is a mocha pot, Italian mocha pot. It's like a 3-cupper, 3 espresso cupper. And then I drink them all myself in a regular size mug. And I used to be a fan of Starbucks coffee and a cafe Americano, but with an extra shot.
Yeah, well, that's what I have to do to get any kind of experience out of a Starbucks visit. So yeah, it's a sad reality, but look, it is what it is. Some would argue we have a problem. I wouldn't. So.
One man's problem is another man's solution. So
that's right. I actually read something. Check this out, and I checked it. There's actual research now. I don't know if it's bullshit or not, but research says if you have ADHD,
Mhm.
right, attention deficit disorder, that coffee actually settles you down.
I've heard this.
Fun fact.
Yeah, the caffeine. What the typical things that would be not an accelerant. That's in lighting things on fire. But what's the
Kero.
word? Whatever caffeine is, right?
Yeah.
Something
Stimulant.
that like stimulant. Thank you. Whatever be a stimulant, yeah, for a person who has ADHD.
Yeah.
I've heard that as well. The stimulants actually calm you down. It has the reverse effect. Like you could go to sleep with caffeine. I am
Yeah.
the opposite. No, if I have, I've come to the point where if I have too much coffee past about noon, I'll just be up all night. And so I've had to kind of measure out my caffeine intake, which is too bad. I really like coffee.
Yeah. That's yeah. You just got to push through that.
Just it's like exposure therapy. Just,
that's it.
just
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
See how
yeah.
far I can take this.
I'm scared of spiders, so you hop in a coffin full of spiders. Yeah, no, you push through that, and your body just adapts, and your adrenal glands just adapt, and you'll be right, mate.
I think that's adrenal fatigue, where all of a sudden I think you're then yeah.
There's a whole other level when you get through the fatigue, you get into this bliss state. I have no research on this whatsoever.
Yes, yeah, I think we should be. I feel like I should put a disclaimer on the screen. This is not medical advice.
No, and actually, don't take any advice, let alone medical, from me. There's a 47-year-old guy with tattoos on his hands. I wouldn't. Yeah, and it is. Yeah, so
that's
anyway.
okay, man. You've got it. You've got a much more adventurous life, it seems.
Life is good. I've had a lot of coffee around the world. It's and I'd like to think that I'd like to think. And what I was last year, found myself in Italy, and that was a great experience. Have you ever been a proper Italian stand-up coffee bar?
I have.
Oh, that is gold. That is gold. You get your pastry, you get your espresso, and your heart rate's at about 180 by resting at about 6 a.m. It's a cool start, a cool way to start your day.
It is. It really is. I like that. There's something about that experience, and I don't know if I guess maybe it's not so I don't know, abnormal or so great for people who just do it all the time. I think the things that seem extraordinary to somebody else, are are probably normal, but
yeah.
It is certainly great. So you've got tattoos on your hands. Did I see that said bucket list?
Yeah, of course. Branding, next level branding.
Yeah.
There we go. Branding, bucket list. Yeah. I've got another one on my lower back. It's like this unicorn with a rainbow. No, I haven't.
I was like, okay.
Okay.
Prove it.
No, I got a few tattoos. If it is to be, it is up to me. There we go. So another one down there. That's all part of the creative process.
Yeah. I've often thought of getting a tattoo, and I have yet to make that sort of commitment.
Coffee mug full of coffee.
There it is. I don't think so.
Just right there.
Just right here. You got to get through all the massive amounts of hair.
Like Conor McGregor,
I don't know. I'm not convinced. I have an idea for a tattoo, but I'm not. I just can't. So what? I have a hard time making the commitment to put something on my body just indefinitely. What do I care about enough? And I don't think everybody feels that way about tattoos. I think some people. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think life's about self-expression. I'm in a good place where I really don't give a shit what really a lot of people think. So I've been running around the world as the bucket list guy for about 10 years. speaking my mind, having an opinion about things like mental health, and just when you're a public speaker and you've done the TED Talks and you've stood on stage in front of thousands of people, you really do build up this. I won't swear, but I don't give a shit muscle. I was going to say another word, but we won't go there. But you really do build up that muscle of where you're not as concerned about what people think, because public speaking, by its very nature, is one of the most scariest things you can do on earth. Which a lot of people would rather get. Fun fact, but people would rather get eaten by a shark than do public speaking. People would rather be in the box than give the eulogy when it comes to public speaking. So, and for me, 10 years ago when I started doing this professionally as the bucket list guy, for me, it was the big domino that I had to push over in my life at that point in time that affected a lot of other areas in my life. And one of the other areas in my life has obviously been, confidence goes up, and hopefully not arrogance, but confidence does go up, where you just don't care of what other people think of you as much. And I grew up quite shy, so I'm not saying this is some inbuilt DNA, thing that I've always had, but it's something I've manufactured. And I think we can all do that. But I think in the age of vulnerability, authenticity, that self-expression is really what it's all about, right? And that's why you do this podcast. It's a way of getting our expertise, of expressing ourselves out into the world to help other people.
Yeah. Okay. So you've been doing this bucket list thing for 10 years and I think you're right. I mean, the fear that people have in their minds about expressing themselves is crippling to a lot of people, and they don't overcome it. But what led you to that point where you were kind of like, say, fuck it, you just did it?
Yeah. Depression.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, I went through a bout of depression, albeit somewhat mild compared to what I've heard since. Because my previous business, I was the founder franchisor of a chain of personal fitness training studios around Australia. So I started that in like the early 90s when personal training wasn't really an industry. Started with one client, ended up, tens of thousands of clients, whole bunch of personal trainers, a chain of personal training studios around Australia, helped, over 2 million personal training sessions done with, over the course of 20 years. And I, one thing led to another, and, toxic people, different situations, circumstances, all loaded up on me, bit of a downward spiral, breakdown before breakthrough. But it was, I slipped into a state of depression, but instead of going on like heavy antidepressants, which is kind of like a Band-Aid effect, right? Because that's one of the biggest issues right now, the overprescription of antidepressants and the overprescription of drugs in general. But instead of doing that, I found myself, I forced myself. You don't feel, when you're going through depression, you don't feel like doing anything. You just feel like just, going into a fetal position. So I found myself, forcing myself to go into personal development events, learning about positive psychology, Akagi principle, law of attraction, life coaching, NLP, these sorts of things. So I went to a whole bunch of these things to really get to what I was going through, the psychology of everything. So get to the root cause. So I worked through some stuff, walked on the fire, hugged it out and high-fived it with strangers on weekends. You cry, I cry, broke the boards, bent the arrows, all that sort of personal development stuff. And it wasn't until about a year after that, a friend of mine said, "Why don't you teach this shit, Trav?" And that actually helped me compartmentalize it. So I summed up the courage, having worked through a bunch of stuff, put on a talk, nearly had to pay the people, 40 people to come to that talk, to come and see what I was. So I packaged in all that stuff. And it was about halfway through that talk, I actually told him, and this is 10 years ago, about halfway through the talk, I started sharing with everyone that I actually had a list to do before I die, actually written down since I was 18, years, even before the movie, The Bucket List. And as a result, it inspired the group, some of the stories, and it's always been what I recalibrated on my reason why, and my reason why for getting out of bed in the morning. The reason why I make decisions quickly in my business was my list to do before I die. So it inspired the group. And yeah, one of the ladies there at the time said, "Oh, at the end, how's all this list to do before you die stuff? It's like a bucket list. You're like the bucket list guy." And I went, ping, light bulb moment. 10 years ago, I went home and registered the domain name, thebucketlistguy.com, and I've been doing that ever since. And that was a real, it's been a really cathartic kind of journey, because everything that I teach now, whether it be through the book or seminars or whatever, it's really all coaching to help the former me. So sold out of all my personal training stuff, defranchised the whole thing, and then went online as the bucket list guy. And I've, effectively been doing that ever since.
Wow. That's a really powerful story. So you now communicate out of, how did you frame it? I can't remember the exact words that you said, but this idea that you took the struggle in your life, and instead of you kind of hitting the bottom and then just like being crippled there, it seemed like you said, I'm going to rebound from this thing with strength, and I'm going to figure out how I can grow from this and how I can turn this into something positive.
Yeah, I think, and I give this kind of advice to a lot of people, that we've all had shit go on, right? And I think it's we've all had a breakdown before breakthrough moment or moments in our life. We've had that confusion before clarity, the storm before the rainbow. And at the end of the day, I am always telling people, how dare you die? How dare you die with the learnings from that transformation? How dare you not help other people with those learnings? So go write a book, go put together a talk, go put together a program, whatever it is. Go, just blog about it, whatever it is, because that's the cathartic part of it. It's kind of like, therapy in a way, where if you start helping other people with the same kind of problems that you've been through, and the light goes on for them before shit gets really bad, it's a pretty cool feeling, man. And I'm stoked that over the last 10 years of doing this, the light has really gone on for a lot of people. What I teach is basically positive psychology at the heart of it, which is essentially the science of happiness, or the psychology of happiness. How to help more people experience more meaning, purpose, and fulfillment and gratitude in their life. But I just put this brand of bucket list over the top of it to make it more tangible. And so, I'm stoked that I've talked to the former me, people who are on antidepressants, who are on suicide watch, mate, youth, 16, 17-year-old kids that were on suicide watch, that have taken this philosophy, this bucket list kind of philosophy, and it's been the light at the end of their tunnel, which has been absolutely amazing. So that, over the last 10 years, I've received some great, heartwarming, really cool feedback about how it's helped people, and the books, just part of that. But it's been a really cool journey, and I feel like I've only just started, because right now, the world kind of needs, the world doesn't kind of need, the world fucking needs help right now.
Yeah.
The depression statistics, pre-COVID, like the stats around depression, anxiety, the overprescription of antidepressants, suicides, youth suicides, and even, we've even got this thing now, man, like called the loneliness epidemic. It's the adverse effect of social media. It's fucked up. And then you go throw COVID on top of that. So I'm just trying to do my bit, and we've got now certified bucket list coaches in 22 countries around the world, all helping me teach this stuff, in their native language and, different parts around the world. And so this is the drum that I've been banging for quite some time.
Yeah. and your experience of depression when, all the stuff that you built up around you seems to be, collapsing in, and I'm paraphrasing for you, but
Mm.
your experience of depression and being in that lonely space, is it fair to characterize that in that moment you kind of felt like I'm the only person experiencing these things, and
Yeah.
instead of realizing that there's somebody else who is probably experiencing the same thing and they're just not talking about it?
Yeah, and that's why we get in groups and we talk about it, hopefully. But the last thing you want to do when you're going through depression is do exactly that. You want to curl up in a ball and not talk to anyone and just not return phone calls and just go within. So the hardest thing is to break out of that. And so that in itself is a really hard process. The thing is with the COVID right now, the whole world is going through the same thing.
Right. Which is kind
You
of my
know,
thought. If you take a psychological or kind of a depressive state, and then you add on the
yeah,
uh, physical loneliness, so you
mm,
already feel psychologically detached, but you got to go to your workplace. You can go out to eat. You can be
mm,
among people. If you
mm.
overlay then the physical detachment, that's like a double whammy for
Well,
people.
that's the whole thing about this loneliness epidemic. Everyone thinks they're more connected now, which we are, but we're more disconnected than ever before. From human to human contact. And we've experienced this through lockdowns and all that sort of thing. Like when you're allowed to go back, come out of your cave and go and meet people again and go to the bar or go to the coffee shop. It's like, oh my God, I really miss this human interaction.
Yeah.
And there's only so many coffees you can have via this medium, without getting that person to person kind of, what it's like to be a human again. And we've been through the second wave. We've come out of it now, and we're coming out of the shadows after our winter now into summer where we are. And you can see that people really have missed being human.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're in a depressive state, I like the saying, you're always comparing your behind the scenes footage with someone else's highlights reel.
Mm.
Times that by 10
Right.
when you're going through depression. So you think your problems are even worse than they really are.
Yeah.
But it's not until you get amongst other people and they go, yeah, shit, I'm feeling that. And it's like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah. It really resonates with me because I've experienced my own kind of dark night of the soul experiences, and have come to that point where it's like this might be the bottom, and
Yeah,
instead of getting and I know what it's like to kind of sit, in that crippled,
yeah,
fetal state where you're just like screw it all,
yeah, yeah,
why
yeah,
does it matter anyhow? And part of even why I have got this coffee with humans thing going on is I decided, you know what, I'm not going to stay there.
no,
Instead, I'm going to use all the strength from that struggle, because there's a lot of strength and bandwidth capacity for dealing with stuff that's developed in struggle,
mm,
and use that bandwidth, use that strength to then kick from the bottom
mm,
in any way that I can. And
mm,
and
mm,
when I started seeing what was happening with COVID around the world, and
yeah,
sensing just through people's discussions how kind of a hopeless state that people were getting in because they felt so detached. I said, "Hey, does anybody want to have coffee with me? I'll have coffee with you. The only rule is no sales calls." And
yeah,
on LinkedIn, boom, just like in moments, people are like, "I'll have coffee. I'll have coffee. I'll have
yeah,
coffee." We have
yeah.
life-changing conversations,
Yeah, it's crazy,
and
isn't it?
I called it, and that was like coffee with humans. And the whole point of like using the word human on it was that underneath the facade of the things that we do and the things that we have and who we always dream to be and aren't, and or maybe we are,
Mm,
underneath all of that stuff, we're human, and we are all fundamentally the same. We have
yeah,
fundamental hopes and needs and desires and fears, and and when we get out of the comparison mode
mm,
with one another, from
mm,
that, just comparing the facade,
mm.
uh, it's like, "Hey, I'm the same as you, even though you're on this side of the planet."
Yeah, 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 totally. And it's not until that's taken away from us that we really do appreciate it. And like we were, I remember the day that we, funnily about coffee, we go to, one of the local coffee shops up here, and they do a great coffee. All the baristas have been trained by me, and all the, but at the end of the day, we during our winter, they only did takeaway coffee. We weren't allowed to go back, like literally in to the coffee shop. And the day they opened their doors back up because of coronavirus, corona-free situation here where I live, we're allowed to go back in the coffee shop, and we're like, oh, this is amazing, and you really do miss it when it's taken away from you. And so I think during this whole, coronavirus thing, it's helped people, hopefully, from what I know, and I only hang around a certain amount of people, and have pretty positive conversations because of what I do. But people have really recalibrated on what gives them meaning, what gives them purpose, what gives them fulfillment, and a sense of gratitude and thanks, in all of this. Because again, it's not until it's taken away where you start to really, long for those experiences.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think one of the other good things is the fact that it has spawned, these lockdowns and stuff has spawned, like, we're radically collaborating like never before, especially online. We've failed forward faster into this, into tech, a hell of a lot more. We've given each other a bit of an excuse if they stuff a few things up like never before. And I don't know about you, but I've seen so many cat's bums over the last 6 months. I wish to never see again. People jump, you're having a meeting, people, there's cat, you're working from home, the cat jumps up and wants a hug, and then before you know it, you're just looking at a cat's ass. So, that's the bad thing. But the good thing is people have innovated, collaborated, adapted like never before in human history.
Yeah,
so that's good.
A lot of good things have come from this time of the whole world locking down, and it's not that we long for struggle, but I think struggle has a way of bringing clarity to the things that matter, and shedding some of the things that don't matter, because we just don't. It's like I don't have time for that anymore. It's not leading me through the struggle.
No, and everyone's I think redefining their new normal of what this. I don't say work-life balance, but I call it work-life blend. And everyone's right now redefining that for themselves. Companies right around the world are redefining, and finding out that they're actually, their productivity went up with everyone, with the remote work team.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting when and if the dust settles of what comes out of it.
Well, I want to get to this idea of the bucket list and what that means to you. And I know that you wrote a book as well, and I'd like to discuss that. But first, hey, you want to play a game?
Sure.
You're like, okay. I don't know. Start the game?
Only if I win.
You might. It depends. We're gonna play the game. Watch them draw it. It's my favorite game for the past month, and I played it with many guests here on Coffee with Humans. Wow. And so we're going to play this. I'm just going to briefly describe for you how this is going to work. It's going to work like this, that there's going to be a phrase that pulls up on the screen. So it'll be like draw a frog sitting in a canoe headed for a waterfall. And then you and I are both going to draw whatever that phrase is. Yeah. And then for the glory prize, we are going to show our pictures to the screen like that. And then you and I can vote on who, and our viewers are welcome. Our viewers and listeners are welcome to vote in the comments as well after you see who's got the picture. But you're gonna have 1 minute, just a bit over 1 minute to draw whatever this thing shows up on the screen. I've got 3 of them. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. First one is, if you got your pen handy, it is draw an animal with an alligator head, a pig body, and monkey feet.
Okay.
I feel like you have alligators there. Like, you should know this.
Crocodile.
Oh, you got crocodiles. All right.
Oh, this is shit. What I've just done.
Oh shoot! I was drawing a whole alligator. That doesn't make sense.
This is
Oh no! Now I've done it. Big body.
Where's the pig one? Big body.
What are monkeys? Oh,
This is not good. I don't know what a. Shit.
You can do it. I believe.
Hang on, like that one, and then monkey feet. Shit. Oh, this is
10 seconds.
really bad.
I don't even know what monkey feet are.
That is shit.
Oh,
Two,
this is terrible.
1.
I'm gonna apologize to all the graphics artists out there.
Hands down. Well, that's an experience, mate. I need a coffee. I need a coffee to draw better. That is.
All right, let's see it. Oh, that's not crap. That's you know what? It's kind of a caricature of a sort of idea.
It looks like a what are those, anteaters?
Oh, you know, it does. It actually does look like an anteater.
Yeah, there you go.
Like a cross between an anteater and an armadillo.
The armadillo. There we go. Just look at yours.
I went with hair on the. Okay, so first I started drawing an entire. I started drawing an entire alligator, and then I realized it was supposed to be pig body.
What's that coming out of its ass?
That's the thing. That's the pig. It's the little pig curly cube.
That's meant to be up there.
Thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Facebook user. That's helpful. If you want to vote on who got that one, that'd be great too.
Wow.
I don't know who gets that one. We'll have to wait for our users to sign in and tell us. You ready for the second one?
Yeah, I'll just sign this because I know it's valuable. There we go.
That is really nice.
It'll be up on eBay in about an hour.
It looks like the balloon animal in the first movie, Shrek.
Oh, wow.
That's fair. That's fair.
Shit, what do you got?
All right, here's our second one. You ready? Okay, here we go. Draw an ice cream cake or ice cream cone sitting on top of a bucket playing the trumpet. Or a bike, not a bucket.
That's easy.
Draw an ice cream cone sitting on top of a bike playing the trumpet. Oh, shoot. I'm going like an old-time bike.
Penny farthing.
This is not good.
God, skills.
We'll see what kind of ice cream cone you put on that.
Bike right first.
"30 seconds.
Hey.
How many scoops on that ice cream cone? I feel they should specify.
And a bike sitting on top. Okay, so shit. Now. Wrong pen.
Oh no, playing the trumpet. How's he play the trumpet and also ride the bike? I feel like there's a gap here in this. Okay.
Oh my god. Oh fuck.
All right, I'll go. I made you go last time. I'll go this time, and boom. As an ice cream cone sitting on an old time bike, like one of those old bikes, playing the trumpet.
Right? Shit.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh, multiple colors.
Yeah. Again, I'll sign that just in case.
I like how you even have a chain on that. You've figured out the logistics of how bikes work.
I ride bikes every morning, mate. I better have worked that out.
I don't even have a. I don't even have. Yeah, I don't even have pedals.
What, you haven't ridden a bike since 1910?
Not true. I mountain bike kind of. I mean, there are no true mountains in Illinois, but
what was the default? What was the default around a penny farthing?
Oh my god, this is terrible. Oh well. Okay, last one. This is for all the marbles.
Shit.
I know. You can do it though. I believe in you.
Yeah, no, I don't. Here we go.
And oh, hold on. Draw a kitten skiing down a mountain with a mouse riding a what? What's it? What? It doesn't even say. Failure. Hold on. We're going to figure this out. Draw a kitten with a mouse riding on her head. Here we go.
Shit.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Kitten skin.
Okay. Oh, we got extra time for this. Draw a kitten skiing down a mountain with a mouse riding on her head. Oh, jeez.
Okay.
This is not to scale. I just want to clarify.
So you should be pretty good at this. If you've done this before with people, yours should be like full on point.
So I try not to double these up.
Right.
So this is so I've had this trick. I'm gonna do an exploded one on this so that you can kind of see the full glory of this kitten. I don't know.
10 seconds. Three, two, one.
Okay.
Whoa.
Oh my God. See, there are important things probably that these should be done in the world right now, but this. Oh, that's fantastic.
Do kittens have arms? Oh shit.
I don't.
There it does now.
That is honest. You know what? I am embarrassed to even show mine now.
You got to get a 4-color pen, mate.
How did you even know?
That's you.
All right, here we go. Boop. That's a kitten skiing down a mountain. So what I did here is you can see that this is the small kitten on the large mountain, and that's an exploded diagram there to show that, which
that's the close-up.
looks not at all like a kitten.
Would you zoom in on the kitten?
That's yeah, exactly. That's the zooming in on the. No.
Look, I know it's late there. So
I know. I get it. That's fine. Okay, so I think especially on number 2 and number 3, given the colors, even the artistic prowess you show, we should auction that off for charity.
Yeah. This will, and I reckon the money made from this auction will probably, it'll feed tens of thousands of people in Africa, I'm sure.
Probably. Well, I tell you what. I mean, hey, why not? Keep it around. If anybody wants to buy that drawing,
we'll
give the cash to charity. I've never done that before, so throwing it out there.
Let's go. There's 3. So they're signed. Amazing. A little bit phallic. But I think they're amazing.
Hey. Yeah, I mean you're in your prime. Who cares?
That's it. Yeah.
So this bucket list thing, you're the bucket list guy. You've got bucket list tattoo. You've been doing this for 10 years. You travel around the world and you have a book.
There it is.
All started from a chat that you gave about 40 people. Walk us through this bucket list thing. What is it, and what do you do?
Yeah, essentially, I've been running around the world as the bucket list guy for 10 years, doing my bucket list, and people pay me to speak about it. And there's always some really cool stories that have come out of it. I've done a heap of different things in my life, and my hobby, my adventures have become my vocation. What I do. So underpinning everything, it's not just about because I'm a coach. I'm a life coach, but I don't go out there and say I'm a life coach. I'm a keynote speaker, TEDx thought leader as well. So I've done a TED talk called "Life's Too Short" by Trav Bell, and it's really woken a lot of people up. Most importantly, but because of the underpinning of the positive psychology stuff, it really has resonated with a lot of people, like I said before. And what I did in the TED talk is what I've unpacked in the book as well. It's called the My Bucket List Blueprint. It's a 12-letter acronym for how to create a personally meaningful and holistic bucket list. So it's designed to wake people up, get them off the treadmill of life, have more fun and adventure. And because we know that these statistics, that people are dying, people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
Yeah.
And I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan, where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan, not be the other way around. So this has really woken a lot of people up, and the whole mission, my whole mission, now our coaches around the world, their whole mission also is to help wake people up before they get given a use-by date. Because at the end of the day, we're so busy on our daily to-do list that we forget about our bucket list until something traumatic or dramatic happens to us or a loved one, right? So I want to help people just reprioritize their bucket list versus their to-do list. So when people hang out with me, they get an opportunity to take time out of their life to work on their life, and not for just them. Even though those with families, I say I'll be the example for others to follow. It's an opportunity for people to put their own oxygen mask on first before they can go and help others. So for parents, be a good example. Be a bucket lister for the sake of your kids. Be a bucket lister if you're in business. If you're a leader, be a bucket lister, glass half full kind of person. That is choosing happiness. It's all about really choosing happiness. And a bucket list isn't just about all the travel things that we want to do. That's why I wrote the My Bucket List Blueprint. There's 12 categories on how to write one of our, a bucket list. And it's really helped people create a more tangible why to get out of bed in the morning.
And you found you didn't find it, but you developed this through your own personal experiences, coupled with, I think, some trainings that you've gone to, and clearly, they're the saying that there's no new ideas, but we're just pulling these concepts together, and then you're turning it into something that was highly valuable for you, and now distributing that around to the world.
Yeah, and it, like I said, it has resonated with a lot of people. It has resonated with a lot of people over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've developed the message of, I get touted as a motivational speaker, but I hate that term. If you've watched a TED talk, I really do hit hard on how little time we've got left. So it spurs people on to not just leave 8 foot and bulletproof, but gets them. It offers a way to look at offers a lens to look at your life through, one that is more inspiring to yourself, and is very personal as well.
Yeah, the term motivational speaker, you said you hate that term, and I did a video recently called it had to do with motivation, but I think the fundamentals of it was you think you need motivation, and I think you're wrong. The issue is that you're staying where you're at, not doing the thing that you say you want to do because you value being where you're at. You value being where you're at more than you value doing something different and moving on to the thing that you say that you want to do. How does that sort of thinking resonate with when you think of motivational speaking? And you don't like it, but you understand. But I see that you understand kind of where I'm headed with that.
It's the psychology of it all.
Framework for you.
Yeah, I mean, people have got to find inspiration, not motivation. There's two. Yeah, and in the old saying, if you motivate an idiot, you've got a motivated idiot. And so, The point being is, it's for people to change. It's not motivation. For people change. There's unfortunately got to be pain. Pain is what gets people moving from one place to another. Initially, then we've got to peg something in the future that's pleasurable. That is a something toward. There's away from motivation and there's toward motivation. Away from motivation is I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be poor. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be. I don't want my business to go bankrupt. Et cetera, et cetera. So it's pain that actually moves us initially. But then that will only last for so long. But the longer lasting change happens when you start looking toward a goal, or in our case, a bucket list item to go after. And it's when that flip starts to happen. If you look at psychologists say that for people to change, there's got to be an admittance for a person to go, you know what, I want help. I'm going to book myself in with a coach. I'm going to book myself in with a therapist. I'm going to go to that seminar. I'm going to read that book. They're the ones that have self-elected to say, yeah, I want to change. And I recognize that to get from here to there, I do need to outsource to a professional. I do need to outsource and get help, because what I'm doing right now, I can't close the gap on with what I know and what I've done in the past. So they say that 50% of the problem is solved when a person actually admits to themselves for the first time that they want help, they want to do something about it. But if I came to you, Jason, and said, mate, I reckon you've got to do this, you need to, you must, you should, you have to. And if you're not in that place of, you know what, I'm ready to do it myself, then that's just going to be falling on deaf ears.
Well, there's that principle in coaching.
Motivation, external, outside motivation doesn't work for a lot of people because they're not actually, there's not enough pain for them just yet.
Yeah. There is that principle of coaching that the answer is already within you. You're just not aware of it yet. I think a lot of people already know intuitively the things that they want, that they should or need to do.
They do. A good coach only asks questions.
Yeah. They're just unwilling to do it.
Unearths the answer within the person, because that creates a sense of pride and ownership when you do that.
Yeah.
And that's really important going forward.
Yeah. Well, we're closing in on our time here. Super, I think, important topic that you bring up, that, people die at 40 and live till 80. And it seems that many people don't experience that or don't come to that conclusion until they're 40. But you've got some resources out there for people who who kind of maybe intuitively know, maybe I need to get a grip on this thing called life. And figure it out. I've got your link here, thebucketlistguide.com/book.
Yeah, there we go.
If you want to get a hold of you. Any closing thoughts that you would want to leave to people who found themselves like your former self? What would you say to them?
Look, what I encourage people to do, if you don't have a bucket list, I honestly think in my heart of hearts that everyone needs to write a bucket list. They're like, get this stuff out of their head. Don't wait until you get given a use by date. All right, because then you haven't got enough time. And do it for yourself. Do it for your family. I recommend that people obviously get a book, go through the exercises. Absolutely, like, abuse the book with your pen right throughout. It's designed to be a workbook. Write your bucket list, go through the My Bucket List blueprint, unpack everything that's in your head. It's designed to help you go north, south, east, west, and really extract and articulate this list of yours. There's some shit will come out of you that you'll never expect. And it gets some crazy shit comes out of people. And I want to hold people accountable, and you too, Jason. I want to hold you accountable. When you've written your bucket list, there's a section in it where you can actually send me your bucket list to make you accountable to it. But so that's the personal trainer in me. I can't help it. I need to make you accountable because life is way too short. But here's the thing: if you don't write it down, there's actually stats that prove that if you put pen to paper, versus even typing it into your phone or into a Google Doc. It's more of a conscious process by actually writing stuff down. People don't write down their goals, let alone bucket list items. You got a 42% more likelihood of them actually manifesting, of them actually showing up if you just write shit down. But a lot of people don't. What's easy to do is easy not to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're busy. We're all busy on our daily to-do list. So I want to separate, give yourself permission to separate your daily to-do list from your bucket list, because your daily to-do list should serve your bucket list.
Yeah.
And
the things you're focusing on today, there's this saying that if I'll show you where you are a year from now if you show me where you're spent today. And
yeah. I mean, what we do for a business, career, job, should produce two things, and that is cash flow and time flow to allow us to do the shit that we really want to do. Most people will respond with, okay, so what are your goals, mate? And they'll say, I want to pay off the house, put the kids through school, do a bit of travel when I'm older. Yeah, and probably sicker.
Yeah.
So this allows people to be happier now, not live in this delayed gratification society that we've all found ourselves in, and not be a statistic.
That's powerful stuff. Well, again, I do encourage everybody to pick it up, thebucketlistguy.com. Trav, this has been fantastic. I enjoyed your drawings.
I didn't.
You totally blew me out of the water on those. So congratulations. I normally win. I normally win the drawings with my stellar creative artwork.
My partner's an artist too. I'm not going to show her this.
Come on. With all the things you've done, you got no shame left. Come on.
That's true.
But to all our viewers and listeners, head over to thebucketlistguy.com, pick up Trav's book, and we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, Jason. Cheers, mate.
One of the things I love about Coffee with Humans are the raw conversations I get to have, meeting new people just like you. If you or someone you know should be on Coffee with Humans, go to coffeewithhumans.com. Remember, the only rule is no sales calls.
This has been Coffee with Humans. Subscribe to get updates or click to have coffee with me. coffeewithhumans.com.